What is up, guys? This is the Epic Gamer Boy here, and today we're going to be doing a full device collection of March 2024. So without further ado, let's get started. Oh, by the way, it's been a very long time since I've done a device collection video because my device has been growing a lot. The last time I did one was like, I believe September or something. But this time, since everything has changed, even my bedroom has, even my like even like my gaming room, I should say, also has changed a bit. And yeah, since it's been a long time since I've done one, why not let's do one again. So without further ado, let's get started. Also, one thing I want to say is that first is that actually one thing I want to say is that this for this, so I'm not gonna try to turn every phone on to show you guys what's on them, because first of all, a lot of these phones I haven't turned them on in ages, and second of all, I do not want to leak any of like my personal information on here. So yeah, so if I say the battery health on one of my on like my newer iPhones and stuff, you guys have to like believe my words, because I don't want my personal information to be spamming. So yeah, without further ado, let's get started. So first up, the device I'm recording on is a iPhone 11 Pro, 512 gigabytes. It has like important battery and display message, cause my 11 Pro is actually logic board swapped, because I used to have like a 64 gigabyte one with like 76% battery health, but that was like the day before I went to China. And since my 12 had it since my 12 had had issues, I don't have many other phones I could main. So this so yeah so then I got my 11 Pro logic board swapped. So yeah, so that's that. Now on to like my rest of the phones for my collection. So first of all, we have an iPhone 3G. This is the only 3G I have, as you can see. It's white, 16 gigabyte. It's on iOS 3.1.2 with like all the apps on there, which is very cool. It fully works with no issues, besides the mute switch being a bit iffy from what I noticed, but other than that, it works fine. Next up, we have is a iPhone 3GS. This one's 8 gigabyte. In this 3GS I have is actually mint condition. This is one of my mint condition 3GS I have in my collection. Yeah, it fully works with no issues. Next up, we have is a white 3GS. Now this one is 16 gigabyte. The only issue with this phone is that it has a very bad battery, and it also has a bad power button. So yeah, that sucks. I mean, it's kind of common for these since they're very old. Next up is another 3GS. Now this 3GS is a bit beat up, but it still fully works. This one I actually found this in like a Target bin, I think. Actually, I did find this in a Target bin, because yeah, it fully works with no issues, as you can see. I noticed the mute switch on this one. Actually, it does work, but it doesn't vibrate for some reason. But yeah, at least it still works. Here, and then we have is another 3GS. This one I actually remember. This is actually one of my first ever iPhone 3GS I have, and I mean, yeah, it is the first one since I used to have like so many iPhone 4s and 4Ss, but later on, but since I didn't have like a 3G or 3GS, I was like wanting to get one of these, and then I found one out. This is actually the first iPhone 3GS I have. I found this in the Target bin like about a year ago, and then I got this one along with another 3GS, which is a 32 gigabyte one. I think that one kind of broke. Oh yeah, and then actually this one here is my first ever 3GS. This one I found in the Target bin back in like last year, actually. And then the white 3GS and this 3G, I got it from like a phone lot from my friend. So yeah. Alright, next up we have is an iPhone 4. This one, 16GB GSM, fully works with no issues. This one, I also found in the... Wait, this one I found in the Target bin as well, like a year ago. Very mint condition, works fully great with no issues. Next up we have is a white iPhone 4. This one's 8GB. I think I still remember the 8GB because I did kind of play these a lot when I was bored. But yeah, 8GB fully works with no issues. Also, my fan is in the way. Sorry about that. And here we have with another iPhone 4 CDMA black, 16GB. Works fully good with no issues. Here we have is a white iPhone 4, 8GB, fully works with no issues. So I think for the ones I had them for a long time, I do seem to take really good cares of them because I used to just get bored and kind of smash these, but I'm trying not to anymore when I found one of these. I mean, even if they're like iOS 7.1.2 ones or 9.3.6 for the 4S, and then I think they should be still worth for something if it's like fully working and in mid condition. Here we have is another iPhone 4. This one's also 8GB CDMA wide. 16, yeah. That one's 8. Now this one here is actually in very mint condition than that one, so that's why it's in this case here, because it's in very mint condition. I think this one here, one of my dad's friends gave this to me like about 2 years ago, I think. Next up we have is a iPhone 4S. Works fully good with no issues. This one here is actually 32GB. Yeah, this one here is actually 32GB. It works fully good with no issues. Here we have a iPhone 4S. Works fully good with no issues. Now some of my iPhone 4s and 4Ss I have, the home buttons on these are on some of these are kind of iffy, but that's actually a common issue for the iPhone 4s and 4Ss, and it's kind of normal since it's a common issue for these. Next up, we have is an iPhone 5, 16GB black, works fully good with no issues. Next up, we have is another iPhone 5, works fully good with no issues. This one's white and it's in a OtterBox case. I actually used to have an OtterBox case like this about like 2 years ago. Actually, it was like a gray one, but that case unfortunately broke because it got beat up really badly. But I actually like these type of cases for like the iPhone 5 and stuff. Next up, we have with a iPhone 5C, white, 32GB, works fully good with no issues. And here we have is a blue iPhone 5C, works fully good with no issues. Here we have a pink iPhone 5C, works fully good with no issues. And next up, we have is a yellow 5C, works fully good with no issues. This one I think used to be in like a white housing, because this one used to be in like a white housing, but I sent this to my friend to like did a housing swap since I had like 2 white ones. And I got like 2 white ones, yeah. So they're all of these are 2 gigs. Now, one thing I noticed is that I have almost all the colors for the iPhone 5C. So the only color that I'm missing is green, but I might get a green 5C someday so that I can have all colors. Alright, next up we have is an iPhone 5S here. I think this one here is 16GB. I have like so many 5Ss and I have like space gray the most in my 5S collection. So 16GB works fully good with no issues. Here we have another 5S. This one's gold, 16GB, works fully good with no issues as well. Next up, this one's from my friend, and this one I got it like 2 years ago or something. Now, I think, yeah, I think, I think a lot of my fours and I think a lot of my white fours I have are from like a year ago or something like that. I kind of forgot. Here, next up here is an iPhone 5S. 5S. This one here is 16 gigabyte silver, works fully good with no issues. Here we have is another 5S. Oh my goodness, I have so many 5Ss. Now this one is space gray, but it's 32 gigabyte, works fully good with no issues. Here we have another 5S, 32 gigabyte, space gray. These two are both space gray, 32 gigabyte, and it also works fully good with no issues. And here we have is another 5S, but this one's a bit special because this one is 64 gigabyte, works fully good with no issues. Now I used to have like a OCD problem of like updating them when I get them on like a rare iOS. I used to do that, but I still kind of do it. But yeah. Well, yeah. I mean, I try not to nowadays. If I ever get one, that I'll just trade it to my friend or something. But yeah. Here we have. Next up, we have an iPhone SE first gen. This 64 gigabyte silver, works fully good with no issues. Next up, we have another SE first gen, works fully good with no issues. This one's rose gold. Next up, we have an iPhone 6 over here. Now this one is unfortunate because this one here is because this one here is on iOS 8. Actually, I can show you that it's on iOS 8. And it has charge, as you can see. Now, and yes, this iPhone 6 is on iOS 8, but unfortunately, it's iCloud locked on iOS 8, which really sucks. My friend actually gave me this phone to use for parts. One of the screws on the bottom is actually missing, as you can see. Actually, in the future, if I get like a better tool or something, I'll use this for parts. And yes, as you can see, it's iCloud locked. But I got this for parts to use for parts anyways. Yeah, iOS 8, as you can see. I'm gonna turn this back off. Next up, we have another iPhone 6. This one's 64 gigabyte silver, works fully good with no issues. I did bring this to China with me just to use it for stuff, and I found this in the Target bin a year ago, back when I found like a lot of stuff. It fully works with no issues. I believe battery health is 93 since it's iOS 12. Here we have another iPhone 6. This one's actually in really mid condition. Also 64 gigabyte, works fully good with no issues, except this one has unexpected shutdowns. And yeah, battery health is 82, I think. Now over here, next up we have is this one I bought this a year ago. And okay, this one I bought this a year ago. This one was from Target bin. Next up, we have is another iPhone 6. Wait, here we have is an iPhone 6S. As you can see, this 6S is actually special because this 6S is, I got this from like one of my close friends called The Great Gamer back in like November 2021. And I've actually and this phone has actually been through a lot of stuff. I've actually did some things with it, but it still fully works. It still like fully works and stuff. And battery health on this thing has also been through a lot since it was at like 93 when I got it, but I think one time like I took this to a repair shop because the screen broke and and once I got it fixed, and when I tried to get it fixed, the front camera stopped working, but after a year, the battery health dropped to 274 from 100, and the front camera started working again. Pretty cool. Also, this phone also has a bad ESN, but it somehow got unlocked. But yeah, but it's still fully working with no issues like now. Here we have is another 6S. This one, I bought this thing on Mercari like about a year ago or something. It fully works with no issues, but unfortunately this phone has like a cracked LCD, like an unnoticeable cracked LCD. Now, when I bought this thing, it was like fully working, but unfortunately this happened, which I don't know how, which I don't know how this happened. But then I realized there was like a very unnoticeable crack. So there's a LCD. I'm gonna turn this back off so that no notification spam. But yeah, I think yeah, there was like, yeah, because of an unnoticeable LCD sort of cracked. I might have to like sell this phone or something, because if I keep it more longer, it's gonna spread even more. Well, it sucks because I like the 6S in rose gold, and that I bought this with my Mercari money. Okay, next up, we're almost done with these rolls, and then I'll go get the other rolls. So next up we have is a iPhone 6s Plus. Now this one here, my friend actually gave me this to use this for parts, as you can see. It needs a new screen and a home button, but I have the screen and part stuff in one of my boxes. But yeah, it just needs a new screen, and hopefully I did not rip the Touch ID cable from taking it off. I probably did from here, but I was mostly taking the screen off. Next up we have is an iPhone 6 Plus. Now this 6 Plus is actually very special because it's a Chinese model, as you can see, and this phone is my grandpa's old phone because he lives in China, and this is actually his first ever iPhone and only iPhone. It works fully good with no issues. The battery health is 88 on it. And now I know 16 gigabytes kind of pain for these, but this phone itself is very special to my collection. It fully works with no issues. Next up we have is an iPhone 6s Plus. I think this one I had it for a while. It has some wear on the screen. It fully works with no issues. Now this one's 64 gigabyte. Here we have another 6s Plus. Now this is actually I think this one here is my main 6s Plus because it's in very mint condition, and it has 100% battery health, and the battery lasts longer. And here we have another 6s Plus. This phone also fully works with no issues. This phone also has 100% battery health, but the battery on this thing dies a little bit faster. And yeah, now we're gonna move on to the next row. So guys, here are my next row of phones. So first up, we have an iPhone 7, 32 gigabyte black, fully works with no issues. Battery health is 73 on this thing. It's my dad's old phone, but not very old phone, because it was his previous phone, but it still counts as his old phone. Yeah, it works with no issues. Battery health is like 73 on this thing. Battery health is 73. But yeah. Next up, we have another iPhone 7. Now this one is 128 gigabyte black, and the battery health on this one is at 100. It works fully good with no issues. Here we have is a red iPhone 7. Fully works with no issues. I really like the iPhone 7 in product red. It's one of my favorite colors. Oh yeah, the case on this is beat up because I don't have any other case, but yeah, the inside of this phone looks in very mint condition. And it has a screen protector too. Next up, we have an iPhone 7 Plus. Now this one is a parts phone. Now this one here is like is a parts phone. My friend gave this to me for me to practice on repairing phones. But yeah, I mean, even though I ripped the screen off, but I didn't do anything to the home button, so hopefully the home button is fine. And that Touch ID and home button would still work for this one. Here, next up, we have is a red iPhone 7 Plus. Works fully good with no issues. Also, the battery health on this one is at 100. This one here, the battery health is at 89, but unfortunately, the battery on the 7 Plus is kind of bad. Like every time when I'm not using it, it always goes stone dead. I don't know why. I think I had that happen with like my old childhood 8 Plus, but yeah, but like I said, most iPhone 7 Plus, 8 Plus should just be working fine with no issues. Plus, if we don't use them for like a while, they shouldn't be stone dead if the battery is like not that terrible. Next up, we have an iPhone 8, 256 gigabyte. Fully works with no issues. Battery health is like 78. I had this phone for actually a long time, since like 2021. And the battery health has never dropped ever since, like, I believe about a year ago or something. That's when it dropped to 78. It fully works with no issues. Here we have is another iPhone 8. Now this one here has an aftermarket screen. I found this in the Target bin some days ago. It's missing a SIM tray. And the half of the digitizer on this phone doesn't work. But at least this phone is like FMI off, so which is a good thing. But this phone's also blacklisted. I mean, even if it's blacklisted, it should still work for everything besides using it for phone call or stuff. But oh god, sorry about that. Got a bit distracted, but this phone should still be fine for just as a media player or stuff. But I'm still gonna sell this phone since I don't really have a use for it, and I already have a fully working iPhone 8. This one just have a bad digitizer. Next up, we have another iPhone 8. This one is 256 gigabyte space gray. It fully works with no issues. Battery health on this one is 100. And yeah. Next up, we have an iPhone 8 Plus, 256 gigabyte gold. Works fully good with no issues. Battery health is 83 on this thing. Unfortunately, my old childhood 8 Plus broke again, and this is like a replacement for it because I feel bad for it. I don't want to talk about too much of what I did to my old childhood 8 Plus, since kind of personal reason. Next up is we have another 8 Plus. This one also works fully good with no issues. Battery health 82. Now this one's unfortunately MDM bypass, but it still fully works. Like I can still use this phone for basically anything. Next up, we have a iPhone XR black, 128 gigabyte. Works fully good with no issues. Battery health on this one is 87. Here we have another XR. Hold on a second. Sorry about that. Got a text there. Now this XR is actually my sister's old phone. It works fully good with no issues. Battery health on this one is now at 80. As you can see. At least it's not too bad, but it fully works now. Coral 128 GB. Oh, the back on this one was originally cracked, but I sent this to my friend and he to get the back fixed. And yeah, next up we have is an iPhone 11. Oh, this phone was on because I haven't turned it in ages, but it fully works. This phone, as you can see, this phone is 64 GB black. It's on US. I mean, it's on track phone because I bought this thing brand new. Because I got this thing brand new on Walmart. The battery health is now at 91 and it fully works with no issues. Next up, we have an iPhone 11 Pro Max, and this phone I found it in the Target bin, and unfortunately this phone here is iCloud locked and we did try to, and me and my friend did try to contact the owner to get this thing unlocked, but unfortunately he wouldn't unlock it for some reason, and that kind of sucks. Next up, we have a iPhone SE 2nd gen. 256 GB, works fully good with no issues. Battery health is at 80. It's actually very bad for an SE 2nd gen, trust me. And then next up we have is an iPhone 13 Pro. Now, this phone here is my main phone, like right now. The reason why I don't use it for the video because it's dead on charge. I'll charge it like later or after the video. But yeah, it's a very nice phone. Also, look at how big the camera is compared to the 11 Pro Max. To the 11 Pro. Wow, this is the 11 Pro Max. Wait, if you compare the size of this and the 13 Pro, the 11 Pro Max still looks a little bit bigger. But yeah, I feel like going from 11 Pro to a 13 Pro is actually a really great upgrade. Oh, by the way, my friend gave this to me for a trade, and I was gonna do the trade with him. And yeah, I have what I have to send him. All right, next up over here we're on to like some Android devices since that's all my iPhones. The phone I'm recording on is a 11 Pro. And it's 11 Pro. Right now I use my 11 Pro as like a secondary phone because I still like the 11 Pro. Okay, so over here we have is an old Android phone. It fully works with no issues actually, just kind of dirty because I found this in the Target bin. Next up we have is a old Samsung phone. In my bin fun video, I said this phone doesn't work, but it actually does work. Actually, I'm kind of curious of this phone. Samsung Galaxy Exhibit. Also this phone is also very slow. I mean, even though it's old and it's really cool, but it actually feels slow while trying to use it. If it's gonna boot. It looks like a Galaxy S3, but it's not an S3. It feels like a Galaxy S3 ripoff, to be honest. Oh yeah, it did have some stuff on it, but I reset it. Yeah, it works. Alright, next up we have the Galaxy S3. Works fully good with no issues. I got this from a phone mod, and it's actually not that bad. I've actually found a Galaxy S3 in a Target bin before, but that one was like very cracked, and then I kind of got rid of it. But this one here is actually in mint condition. It only has like some minor cracks down the bottom that I don't really care about since it's unnoticeable. At least it's not something. Oh wait, oh wait. I mean, the two cracks down here doesn't really bother. Next up, we have the Galaxy S4. Works fully good with no issues. Next up, we have the Galaxy S6. Works fully good with no issues. Now I do have a Galaxy S5, but I kind of like sold it because I accidentally broke the flap on it. The flap, yeah. So here we have the Galaxy S6. It works fully good with no issues. Unfortunately, the battery on it is kind of bad. Here we have another Galaxy S6. Works fully good with no issues, but the battery on this phone is also like bad. The screen on here is a bit lifting from what I can feel. I hope the battery isn't swollen, but this phone actually got water damaged. This phone actually got water damaged, and yeah. But this one here's my main S6. This one has never been in water before, but this one has. But it did later recovered from water. But the only issue now is that the battery on it is like really bad on it. Next up we have the Galaxy S7. Works fully good with no issues. By the way, this phone is actually unlocked to all carriers, and all of these phones I have, including the S5 I used to have, are all on Verizon. Cause yeah, I don't know why, but for these older Samsung phones, I like them on like Verizon more than AT&T for some reason. Cause 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 AT&T has like more carrier apps, I should say, than Verizon for these phones. But yeah. Next up we have is a Galaxy Note 3. This phone is one of my uncle's old phone. It fully works with no issues. The only thing that about this phone is that it's missing a back cover. But this phone is a Chinese model, and it's hard to find the right back cover for this. If I ever find a Note 3 with a broken AMOLED or a smashed one, but still has a back cover, then I'll take it, and then I'll just use it for this. But yeah, also, yeah, this Note 3 is also a Chinese model, so that's pretty cool. Next up, we have is a Galaxy, is another Note 3. Works fully good with no issues. Now, this is a US model, and sorry about the text, but I'm almost finished. And then I'll get on to like the dumb phones, iPods, iPads, and laptops. And watches. So here we have it. But yeah, this Note 3 works fully good with no issues. I had like a cracked one before this, but I used to have an OCD where like phones with cracked screens used to like bother me and stuff, and I like broke it when I was born. Alright, next up we have the Moto G first gen. Works fully good with no issues. This phone's kind of slow, but I still kind of keep it. Here we have another Moto G first gen. Works fully good with no issues. Still keep. I have two of these. I mean, I could sell one of these, but at least they're worth a little bit of something. $20, I don't know. Here we have a Xiaomi phone. This phone here is my grandma's old phone. It works fully good with no issues, except this phone. Actually, it works fully good with no issues. It works fully good with no issues. Actually, I think for the Moto G first gens I have, one of these I got for like smashing, but I still kept it. The other one I found in like a Target bin about like a year ago or something. Next up, we have a ZTE something phone. Now this phone, unfortunately, it keeps getting stuck in a boot loop and never turns on. So this phone's kind of junk anyways. it's a ZTE something, but it just gets stuck on the on a boot loop when I plug it into the charger. Here we have the Moto X4, works fully good with no issues. It's actually very fast as well. I really like this phone. Next up, we have the Galaxy Note 9, fully works with no issues. Next up, we have the Galaxy Note 10 Plus, works fully good with no issues. It has a lens sticker on the back, which is actually very cool. Next up, we have the Galaxy A03. This phone is in very mint condition after almost a year. Works fully good with no issues. I don't use it that much because it's slow. And next up is this TCL phone that I haven't really set up yet. It did have some stuff on it, but I reset it. Wait, I can also take off the back cover. Something I haven't... Oh my... Hold on. Oh wait, I forgot it still has a SIM card in here. I haven't done much with this phone. I'll take the SIM card out later. But this phone fully works with no issues. I bet it's also slow. I'm gonna sell this phone. At least this phone is still worth some bit of money since it's in mint condition. But yeah. Alright, that's sad. Now we're gonna move on to like the dumb phones and other stuff. Alright. So we're gonna go into like the iPods first and then the dumb phones. So over here we have is a iPod Classic 3rd Gen. It works fully good, but the battery on this thing does not hold the charge, so it can only be used on a charger. But the reason why I still keep this is because it has some like really nice sounds on it that I like. Next up here is an iPod Touch 1st Gen. The reason why I put Miku on the back, because the back on this thing was completely scratched off. It's also jailbroken and has some apps, and that's cool. Here we have is another iPod Touch 1st Gen, 16 gigabyte. This iPod has a lot of old apps on it, which is really cool. Next up here is an iPod Touch 2nd Gen, 8 gigabyte, works fully good with no issues. Here I have is another iPod Touch 2nd Gen, 8 gigabyte, works fully good with no issues. Here we have is another iPod Touch 2nd Gen, 32 gigabyte, works fully good with no issues. Next up, we have an iPod Touch 4th Gen, works fully good with no issues, 16 gigabyte, but this iPod has some dead pixels on the screen. This iPod, I found that in the Target bin, I remember, like a year ago. Next up, we have another iPod Touch 4th Gen. I think I showed this already, or might not. But this iPod 32 gigabyte black works fully good with no issues. This one has some old apps on it as well. Works fully. And yeah, here we have the white iPod Touch 4th Gen, 32 gigabyte, works fully good with no issues. This is one of my favorite iPods in my collection because it's white and it's in very mint condition. Next up, we have an iPod Touch 5th Gen. Works fully good with no issues. Pink, 64 gigabyte. I still like the iPod Touches nowadays, even though they don't really even though Apple don't really sell iPods anymore, I should say. But I still really like them because of the colors on them and stuff. Next up, we have the iPod Touch 6th Gen, 32 gigabyte blue. Works fully good with no issues. Next up, we have an iPod Touch 7th Gen, gold, 32 gigabyte. Works fully good with no issues, and I got this before Apple like stopped selling this, and yeah, it's still in really good condition because I took really good care of this thing. And now we have the dumb phones. Here we have the Kyocera something. It works fully good. It works actually. Here we have this phone. This is kind of a newer dumb phone. I don't want to use this or something. I don't want to do much with this. Next up, you have is this phone. Now this phone is one of, oh yeah, these two, this flip phone and this phone is my grandparents' old flip phones. Unfortunately, the batteries on them got swollen, and my grandparents have to take these out before giving them to me. But yeah, I guess I still need to keep them safe, even though there's no batteries in them, because these are very special. And last up, is a Nokia something. I'm not sure if it works or not, but this phone is also my uncle's old phone. But yeah, that's all for that. All right, so I'm gonna show you guys my watches of what I have. So here we have the Apple Watch Series SE Series SE, but it's a Series SE first gen. If all it works with no issues, the battery health on this is at 99, and it's on WatchOS 10.4 something, 10.4.1 actually, since it just came out today. Next up, we have a Minecraft watch. I need to get more Apple Watches in the future, because this is the only Apple Watch I have. Here we have the Minecraft watch. It's actually really cool, but it's actually cool for like just using it for like telling time and stuff. But an Apple Watch can do like more things than it. Next up, we have this watch. This is kind of like a fake Apple Watch, to be honest. But yeah, also kind of a normal regular watch. The Apple Watch I have here is a smartwatch. And next up, and last up, we have this watch. Now, these two I got it from the Clothing. This one I got it from a mall a year ago, and this one I got it I think this one I got it at the end of my school year or something. Back in like 2022, because I've been wanting an Apple Watch for so long, and then I finally have one. But since it's been like 2 years or something, I feel like I want to get more Apple Watches in my collection. Okay, so now we're on to iPads. So also I will include like my computers and my AirPods in this video. I'll try. So first up, we have an iPad 2. Oh my goodness, seriously. Oh, okay, sorry about that, but some information on here did actually spammed or leaked or something. I hope I didn't leak any like personal information on there, because there was like a bunch of like Apple ID messages. But yeah, here's the iPad. It fully works. It's on iOS 9.3.5, the latest version it could run. And yeah, next up we have another iPad 2. Oh, these things feel slippery without a case. So those phones. But here's another iPad 2. It's white. Oh. Oh well, at least it didn't show my email or anything. I did not meant for this to happen. And here we have but that one, but the white one I have is also on iOS 9.3.5. Here we have an iPad 3. Okay, let me get these notifications out the way first. So yeah, here we have an iPad 3. You can tell some differences between the iPad 2 and 3 here. So first of all, you notice the camera on the iPad 3 is a little bit bigger. Also, I noticed the iPad 3 has like more weight than the iPad 2. But yeah, this thing also has Siri. The iPad 2 does not have Siri. And this iPad has a Retina display. Next up, we have an iPad 4. Okay, for some reason, I have no idea why Apple has to make the iPad 3 identical to the iPad 2 when the iPad 4 actually did a lot more improvement than the iPad 3, like an A6 chip and a lightning port, and this iPad goes up to iOS 10. The iPad 4 in my hand, as you can see here, also feels kind of heavy. Also, I did roll Elsa on this thing because I was bored one time. But I was only for the back. But yeah, this iPad works really good with no issue. 16 gigabyte. To be honest, I actually really like the iPad 4. It just feels like a nice iPad. As you can see. Next up, we have an iPad Mini 2. Works fully good with no issues. And it's 32 gigabyte. 32 gigabyte space gray works fully good with no issues. Next up, we have an iPad Mini 4. 128 gigabyte gold, also works fully good with no issues. And next up, we have an iPad Air 2. It's also 128 gigabyte. Wait, it still hasn't charged. I saw it died on charge. On me. Let's just hope notifications don't spam or something. But yeah, I don't use this that much because it's kind of slow. But it is on iPadOS 15.8.2. Wait, is it? Because I haven't used this in ages. So the iPad just turned on me. I'm going to be careful to make sure it doesn't show any... Actually, it just died on me. Oh well. But yeah, at least the iPad fully works good with no issues. So yeah. Okay, so next up we have an iPad 6. 128 gigabyte. Works fully good with no issues. I don't use this that much anymore, right now or something, because this iPad is very slow on iPadOS 17. I did use this on my trip to China for 2 months, and I can feel the performance on this thing. Yeah. Next up, we have an iPad 9th Gen, 256 gigabyte. Works fully good with no issues. As you can see here. And this iPad, to be honest, this iPad actually feels much faster than my iPad 6. And this iPad will definitely get iPadOS 18 this year. And last up, we have is an iPad 10th Gen, 256 gigabyte. Works fully good with no issues, and this iPad is over $600 when I got it, which does feel a lot. It works fully good with no issues. It's my main iPad, and I use my iPad 9th Gen as my secondary iPad. And yeah, I'll show you guys some of my AirPods. I'll just show you guys some AirPods I have that are Apple AirPods, since I have a bunch of wireless headphones. Okay guys, so here are my AirPods. So first up we have this AirPod. This is an AirPods first for 2nd Gen, and then I have 2 AirPods Pro here. I have 2 more of these AirPods, but these ones are from bins and they're missing some pods. This one's missing the whole AirPods. This one's missing one. And then we have 2 fake AirPods here. I actually do have a few more fake AirPods, but I actually gave one to my mom when she saw I have so many AirPods and stuff. And yeah, there's nothing much in here Okay, lastly, I'm gonna show you guys my laptops I have. Alright guys, so here are my laptops. So we have so first of all we have is this Windows laptop. It's a wait, I need to see the specs of this. It's a Evo something. It works. It's my main like PC laptop that I use for gaming and stuff. And then we have like two MacBooks here. This is a MacBook Air 2017. Password's only 123456. But yeah, if I see the about page without showing my serial number, it's patched to Sonoma. Which is actually pretty cool. Yeah, but it works. It's my main MacBook. I don't know why, but this MacBook still feels very fast to me. And then we have this MacBook, a MacBook Air 2015. Now the battery on this one is kind of bad. It was my dad's old laptop, but since now, since he also got a MacBook Air 2017 that used to be my mom's, now I have this, and this one here is my main MacBook. But yeah, it fully works. This one also works, except the battery on this one's bad, but this one works well. So that's about it for my device collection of March 2024. I hope you guys like this video. I tried to include everything I have. If we did, don't forget to leave a like, subscribe for more content like this, and I'll see you all in my next video. Bye.